These are shares full of plants and plastic bags. Watch the video to see how this happened. Welcome plant lovers, Denise here yet again at another plant sale, plant show for you guys at the Huntington Botanical Library in Los Angeles, and they are hosting an orchid show that has a plant hotel. So if you bought some plants and you want to go back and look but you don't want to carry them, you can leave them for free at the plant hotel. The first vendor that we are looking at is Ecuagenera, and just because they were literally the first tent, and is there even a plant show or a plant sale in the United States where Ecuagenera is not present? I can't remember ever being at one. So here they are yet again, bringing a lot of tropical plants. They have stepped up their game due to them having physical locations now in the United States. So they are not only providing or selling imported plants, they are also now selling potted plants that have been acclimated and that are in soil. But of course, they're always a little bit more expensive than the import ones, which you recognize because they are in those clear plastic bags and surrounded with sphagnum moss. Then they also had some high-loving humidity plants that are in these self-made plastic cloches, and orchids, of course, because that is what Ecuagenera is truly actually known for. So the prices here weren't as competitive in comparison to the other vendors at the orchid show. So why I say that is also because I love to attend these events on the last days, because vendors really give some good percentage off, because they don't want to travel back and take all the plants back, because most of them wouldn't survive the travel back anyways. And Ecuagenera offered 20% off, and they had like a die-in box with plants that are really not doing good, which they offered 40%. But other vendors had better discounts. My rough guess would be around 30 vendors at this orchid show, which most of them were orchid vendors. Obviously, it was an orchid show, but there were people selling tropical plants like Aroid Hoyas. You can find nursery pots and soil mediums, from staghorn ferns to like more desert plants as well. So really like a really nice mix. I love orchids, but I don't collect them. I collect tropical plants, Aroids. And Mundiflora had a 50% off. 50% off on the last day of the orchid show. And I have to say, their plants still looked amazing. They had some really beautiful specimens. The leaves weren't yellow, they weren't sad, they weren't browning, nothing was melting, and you can even see really beautiful roots through the sphagnum moss. You got 50% off. This giant workianum was $100 minus the 50% off, so $50.
Nice.
David, hey, how's your Boston? Good. Yeah. Yeah, feel free to tap out.
How about this one? Is this the same as the other?
Third time would be best.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want
Can I get something like this? So this is 100.
So this was really the highlight. 50% off on like plants that are already cheaper than in all of the plant shops was great, and you can see how healthy they look. Look at this Workianum, super happy, healthy plant. I fell in love with this begonia, which I did actually get. Even though I've been around and have been collecting tropical plants for a few years now, I have never heard of the tropics, and it seems to be a US seller, but the plants were wrapped like import import plants, which confused me a little bit. The prices were competitive to the other sellers of like aroids that were at the show as well. So yeah, I looked at them. It wasn't like anything that was catching my eye, but just to mention that they were there. I have limited outdoor space, so I don't really have any cactus, succulents, and any like desert kind of plants like orphobias and air plants, but I really love them and appreciate them. So I wanted to show you guys one or two vendors that were selling, you know, like more like desert kind of plants at the orchid show. Oh, I love the ripsalis.
David. Andino. Ah. Bien, usted. Voy a comprarme. Oh, you're gonna take this one? No, but I already have one at home. Yo tengo uno que todavía comprar.
Love from Peru had 20% off, but not only that, in general, their prices were the best. So they had the lowest price plus 20% off.
30, they're all 35. $35 obliquas.
That's crazy.
Does this make you mad that you paid $60? It's crazy. ¿No hay otro? Oh, ¿es the other one? Ah, acá mira. Mira que no iba a comprar nada. Voy a comprar uno. No, yo dije no voy a comprar nada. Uno o dos y ya se va con todas. Merece grande. ¿Cuánto cuesta?
Yeah, like cotton ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you can understand how we ended up at the dining table at the restaurant with all these plastic bags filled with plants because of the huge percentage. 50% off a Mundiflora, 20% off at the Peruvian seller who already sold Monstera obliquas for $35 minus the 20%. So it was a huge success and so many great deals and definitely worth the visit. Really a wild mix of plants, Perseas and the orchids and the peperomias and the aroids and some Hoyas, and you know, there's like many plants that I haven't showed you guys yet. But also the rare plant fairy was there. The rare plant fairy, I would say, definitely catered to the plant collector who was looking for the more trendy and popular plants, tropical plants. So they had like all the variegated ones, as well as unique shaped ones, everything that you can think of if it like Monstera Thai Constellation, Monstera Aurea, Monstera Mint, which is the absolute wish list of mine. You know, philodendron pink princesses and variegated syngoniums, some variegated alocasias. They had Perizo verdes, philodendron droopy eyes, and philodendron marble, caramel marble, which was really beautiful. Variegated money tree, which is also something that is on my wish list and I think is highly underrated. A variegated Adansoni eyes, and they had so many plants. Oh, and they also offered 20%. Did I say that already? I can't remember. So they also had 20% and they had variegated bananas as well. But my highlight was for sure the money tree, which I regret actually not getting.
The other thing is don't let it dry out, so it probably needs more water than your Monstera. Otherwise, these are acclimated to 40%.
Hey, right. So beautiful. Look at that leaf.
It's more than my rent. I love this one.
Yeah, that one's better.
Yeah.
Better, bigger. Bigger. Ooh, what is that? No, they're not the same. Aren't they? No, different.
Love the dark flowers on the top.
Oh, I got one.
Oh, you got one at home?
Yeah. No, I got one right now.
Oh, okay. And an orchid show wouldn't be a orchid show if they didn't had show plants. So plants that won prizes for being like the best of the best. So after a while, we headed to the plant hotel, took a quick break from the plant shopping and checked in some of our plants, which you could go back and forth and constantly just add your plants to your ticket. Like I already have my ticket.
Can
and
I add this to this number?
the Ripsalis went into the basket. And then we headed into the show area where they displayed really beautiful a lot of orchids, and it was just the thing is, at the orchid shows is usually inside, the lighting is not good, but you could see that there was some really beautiful displays of plants and art in general here at the Huntington Botanical Library and Garden. After the orchid show, we headed back to the plant hotel to check out our plants, and then we went to the cafe and restaurant at the Huntington Library, and this is how we at the end ended up with all these bags of plants at the dining table. Make sure to subscribe to the channel.